Hi, guys. I'm not gonna be live for long. I just feel like I didn't exactly get to say everything I wanted to say. Hey guys. Hi, I guess I should have waited for people. I'm just fucking talking like an idiot. Hey Nadja, hey Anchored, hey Jeannie, hey Hot Grannies. So anyways, I'm really, truly not gonna be live for long, like maybe 5-10 minutes. I just feel like I really want to say something, and it may or may not be a popular opinion. It may or may not be agreed with by everyone. But I also want to make it very clear that there's not a single person that I follow on YouTube that I agree with every single thing that they do, or even the majority of what they do. There are so many people that I'm like, I don't agree with their lifestyle. I don't agree with the decisions they made. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that. It's fucking YouTube. So, like, we're allowed to disagree. Here's what I stand for, I guess you could say. I will never stop standing for the cadets. I will never stop standing for the kids who were born in to Sea Org families and never had a fucking childhood. I will never stop standing for the fact that no matter what situation, what type of setting, what ranch, which location, which cadet org, Clearwater, Denmark, LA, LA is PAC base, INT base. I don't care which one you were at. I don't care which one they were at. I'll never stop standing for those kids because they never had a fucking choice. All these other people that joined Scientology later in life, their stories are valid and their stories matter, but they do not deserve to speak on the experience of a Scientology child. They cannot speak from an experience of, well, I did this with the kids in my course room. I do not agree with that, because no matter what the fuck you did to those with your kids in that course room, they may have had a different experience with that, because they may not, the people that were dropped off knew, and this is specifically to Alonzo, this specific part, only this part. Those parents that dropped those kids off may have forced them to go. So yeah, no shit, they fucking acted right in your course room. They didn't have a goddamn motherfucking choice. Okay? I cannot and I will not accept diminishing anything in Scientology that has to do with a child. Child auditing, child going on course, child sec checks. Yes, children have been Joburged. Yes, it has been documented. Yes, people have spoken out about it. It's just the one thing that I really just won't stand for. You can argue with people who joined as an adult till you're blue in the face. That's your prerogative, and I don't give a fuck about it. The children had no choice. We grew up, a normal child in a normal environment grew up with rules at school, rules at home, and actual laws. And then maybe like rules at like your church or whatever while you were there. And there was rules at church that like they wanted you to follow, but it wasn't really like, I never got in trouble for not going to confession. Okay, maybe I did, but whatever. Those options weren't there. They grew up with Scientology. They grew up with RTC. They grew up with Osa. They grew up with David Miscavige. They grew up with L. Ron Hubbard. They did not grow up with a normal law and order or a normal rules and consequences or a normal anything like that. There were rules, but the consequences were vague and able to be interpreted differently by each person that chose to enforce them. So the policy itself is the problem for the children specifically. The policy itself is what the issue is with any of these children being subjected to anything like that. I will not accept that, and I will not ever defend or protect anyone who thinks that they believe that. Whether they ran a course room or whether they audited a child or whether they were at a ranch or anything like that. Because you know what they didn't do? They were incapable of putting themselves in the shoes of that child while they were doing that. And therefore, their point is mute. Because what matters in that situation is the story of the child. I will never get off this point. I will never not defend the children. I have a child. I have a niece. I have a nephew. I have 2 other nieces that are a little bit removed. I have cousins. I have many, many, many family members. And if any of them were in anything like this, you better fucking believe I'd be the first person at that church asking questions. Like, I don't care if they would hate me at the end of it. I literally don't fucking care. So that's my opinion. That's my stance. I will not change. I will not deter from that. I'm open to having conversations just like I was friendly with Alonzo on the rest of the panel. The panel. I'm not a bitch, but I want to make my stance very clear. I stand for Lara. I stand for all the other children, whether I like what they choose to do with their life or not. The cadets specifically, not the out-org trainees, not the people who were a child when they were at an org, the cadets. Because those are the kids. And are they a smaller percentage than other classes of Scientology? Sure. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And I don't care about the Catholic Church, and I don't care about the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I don't care about the Mormons, okay? I'm not fighting them. I don't give a fuck about them. I'm talking about Scientology. That's what I choose to advocate for. You want to talk about Christianity, you want to talk about all that other shit, go fucking somewhere else. Okay? I choose to advocate for Scientology. Victims. And I will never stop. I hope every cadet that has ever left will recognize and appreciate that their story matters, their story is important, and what happened to them was not their fault, and it was not fucking okay. And I will never come off of that. And I'm sorry, I didn't read a single chat. Thank you everyone for being here. I had to get that off my chest. I know it's really late for a lot of people. I was unsettled leaving the panel and not being able to express that. So that's my stance. And I'll never stop. I'll never stop. So love you all to death. A difference in opinion does not mean I can't be friends with you or have a conversation with you. That's not how that works. But a difference in opinion is different than a lack of respect and name calling and diminishing and degrading. And people need to realize who they're actually speaking to instead of reading things and then deciding to react. Love you guys. See you later.